watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shail Bhatnagar, and this is Market Today. The stock markets are back after a 3-day extended weekend holiday. We did see that on Friday, Indian markets had at least recorded the closing highs for the second straight session. And of course, the week gone by has also seen the main index Nifty gain in the 4 out of the 5 trading sessions as well. It first surpassed the resistance of 23,300, followed by 23,400, and by Friday, it now stands at the cusp of 23,500. When we talk about the Nifty Bank, however, it turned out to be an underperformer compared to the Nifty, but definitely managed to close above the mark of 50,000 for the first time after 2 weeks, and by just only about 2 odd points. The markets are now looking for directional cues. Most of the events are out of the way. Election results, government formation, RBI policy, Fed rate hike. Now the question is, can the Nifty cross 24,000 before the June series expiry? Good morning to all our viewers, and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mangalwar hai to Mangal hoga hi. And Sakshi, one more important thing. We had an extended week last time. We have 4 working sessions today. So yes, options traders need to be well informed as far as prices are concerned. We only work 4 days in this week. And given that background, Sakshi, I think there is a very, very strong resistance at 23,500. Remember, Friday's high was something like 23,480, and immediately there was a selling pressure from that onwards. But what is good is that 23,400 is now with the bulls, and from that point onwards we will sort of try and scale mount 24k. That should happen fairly soon, because the run up of the budget is what is getting experienced in the market. Nevertheless, let's start with the basics, and we'll show you the usual Nifty chart that is right there in front of you. The whole market added about 66 points to at 465. The intraday high, as I have said, was 480. The trend is up as far as the Nifty is concerned, and we've got strong overseas cues coming in. Very, very strong closes happening on Wall Street. Sakshi will give you those details, but the S&P 500, the Nasdaq at record highs, and that should percolate. That good sentiment from Wall Street should percolate into India. What's also clicking is the quiet US 10-year bond yield. Crude oil prices are a bit elevated above 200 DMA, but that's good news for local players such as ONGC and Oil India. There's also a windfall tax cut, so we'll be discussing that. But broadly, Sakshi, if you see the mid-cap and the small-cap indices last week, they rallied 5.75% and 7.9%. So a very, very strong rally is being witnessed in the broader markets, in the mid caps and the small caps. And of course, the capital goods index was the top performer, up about 8% in a single week. So those are the rallies that investors need to look at. Buy the dip as far as the main index Nifty is concerned, anywhere between 23,350. If you get 23,300, that's a bonus. But for the moment, buying the dip works very well. Both indices, as Sakshi pointed out, the Nifty and the Bank Nifty, have closed above very strong resistances, which is 23,400 in the case of Nifty, and a magic number 50,000 in the case of Nifty Bank. While we focus on these indices, the action is outside these, which is, the capital goods index, the PSU banking index, the CPSE index, all which rose very smartly. Now, why are they rising? There are a couple of new funds who've got large amounts of money from retail investors. The NFOs that were launched in April and May, they are now functional. So those funds are on the hunt, and they are buying into capital goods because their thought process was to launch schemes favoring the manufacturing sector. Therefore, you see ABB, Siemens, Bharat Bijli, Kirloskar Group, all of them showing very strong traction last week. What needs to be done is, of course, buy the dip. And Sakshi, a couple of stocks that I have in mind are Adani Enterprises. The parent, the Adani Group, has raised its stake in Adani Enterprises by 2 percentage points. Remember, this is the worst performing Nifty stock over the past quarter, up just 5%. So keep this in mind. Paras Defense, there's a huge block deal that happened on Friday. That's the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority buying about 5 lakh shares. Keep this in mind. This was up 28% in the previous week, Sakshi, making it the top mid-cap performer. And of course, a buyback in Godavari Power at about 400 rupees a share. The counter is around 1000 rupees. So keep these in mind. And of course, a very strong resistance on the Nifty at about 23,500, but an equally strong support, if not more, at 23,400. So range bound trade, and then let's see what happens. Sakshi, how about US markets? Where are the new highs coming in?
Well, the S&P 500 and Nasdaq both have scored record closing highs on Monday, as technology shares were seen rallying on the enthusiasm over artificial intelligence ahead of this week's economic data and Federal Reserve's official speeches that could shed light on monetary policy as well. All the three indices were sharply higher, with the Nasdaq leading the gains with almost a percent uptake, 0.9% to be precise. S&P 500 0.7% higher, 0.5% gains on the Dow Jones as well. Most of it has come in on the back of gains that was being seen on Apple shares, Nvidia, as well as the semiconductor focused shares as well. So those were the big movers that led to record moves coming in on the Wall Street. Now, as far as gold is concerned, it's inched just mildly higher, 0.09% at $23.21 an ounce. Brent crude advanced about 0.12% at $84.35 a barrel. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Asia Pacific region, it rebounded in the early trading session today, tracking the sharp gains on Wall Street, even though they're awaiting the Reserve Bank of Australia's rate decision now. When we come to a Japanese index, Nikkei was up about 0.7% or 280 odd points as well. Now, within the other Asian markets, we did see moves coming across the board. So across Kospi, Hang Seng, Shanghai, these were the indices that were also showing some uptick coming in. Now, as far as just Hang Seng about flattish right now, but the Kospi and the Shanghai also up in strong moves right now, but it's the Nikkei that's gaining with almost 1% gains right now. As far as the flows are concerned, remember, the gift Nifty is obviously indicating a positive start, 100 odd points of a move. So we can expect the Indian markets to inch up higher, almost 23,590 odd levels is what it is indicating. But when we look at the foreign portfolio investors, they've mopped up stocks worth about 2,176 odd crore rupees. As of Friday, the domestic institutional investors have purchased about 656 odd crore rupees worth of stocks on Friday again. Key stocks that I'm looking at, HCL, the Defense Ministry has issued requests for proposal to procure 156 light combat helicopters. Zomato isn't going to be in focus because the company has confirmed to the exchanges that they are in talks with Paytm to acquire their entertainment business. So we will keep an eye out on both Zomato as well as Paytm. Remember Bharti Airtel, that's another one that I'm going to be keeping an eye out on. The company has prepaid 7,904 odd crore rupees to clear deferred liabilities for spectrum acquired in 2012 and 2015 that is. So all the deferred liabilities have been prepaid by the company. Adani Enterprises, as highlighted by Shail also, promoters will have increased their stake in the company to 73.95% from 71.93%. So the company is going to be in focus. SBI, I'm keeping an eye out on. The company will be raising the MCLR by 10 basis points across tenures effective of June 15. So these are some of the stocks that I'm keeping an eye out on, Shail.
Sakshi, let me add some interesting names to this one. Let's look at Indigo, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, India's top aircraft. It's the top airline. And two important things have happened, Sakshi. One is the 1 percentage point increase in market share for the month of May, which now stands at about 61%. So this is a sheer monopoly that you see in the works. And of course, Pratt & Whitney, the engine supplier for Indigo's vast fleet, has also come out with a solution on grounded planes. Remember, some of Indigo's aircraft are facing problems because of engine issues and they are grounded. So Indigo is paid compensation for that. In those terms, you need to look at Indigo already at 42.70. Sakshi, Mahindra and Mahindra, this is a very, very strong upgrade that has come in from brokerages across the board. I'm sure you will want to talk about Jefferies, you will want to talk about Goldman Sachs, and of course UBS, but keep this stock in mind. This is Nifty's best performer. The Mahindra Group held its investor day on Friday, and there has been a slew of reports that's come in primarily on the future that Mahindra and Mahindra has projected for its main business, which is SUVs. There's been an increase in market share to 21% in SUVs over the last 3 years from 18%. Farm mechanization is likely to accelerate. That's what Mahindra and Mahindra has told shareholders. Possibly the tractor market could double. They haven't mentioned the time, but of course an IT as well. So keep these, keep Mahindra and Mahindra in mind, and Sakshi, of course, ONGC. Lots of drop in open interest, a cut in windfall tax, and crude above 200 DMA. ONGC and Oil India will be two stocks in focus as far as I am concerned. Of course, Indigo, Adani Enterprises, and within the defense space, Hindustan Aeronautics, as Sakshi mentioned, and of course, Paras Defense. Sakshi, any brokerage reports that you have?
Yes, absolutely, Shail. Infosys is going to be in focus because CLSA has come out with an outperform rating on this one. They've given a target price of 1553. After the management meet, they have given some takeaways. They're saying that the company is undergoing rough cyclical currents, and long term, the industry positioning still remains to be intact. They also say that sales growth revival will be led by cloud, discretionary spend revival, as well as generative AI. And multiple margin levers also are at hand, and which is why they are increasing the target price to 1553 with an outperform rating. Remember, 1488 is where Infosys is currently trading at. Like you also said, M&M, Nomura came out with a buy rating with a target price of 3374. They believe the scale up to be electrifying, maintaining M&M as their top pick. And they also believe farm mechanics has high potential as well. And exports and growth gems have further upside, with a valuation now looking attractive for M&M at the current levels of 29.28 as well. So 33.74 significant upside from the current levels is what Nomura believes. Morgan Stanley has also upgraded and raised the target price on M&M. Their target price now stands at 3,049 with an overweight rating. They believe that M&M offers high growth visibility that comes from its ICE order book and an impressive EV lineup. And its Oja tractor lineup and turnaround in the non-auto businesses is something that they are more bullish on. They also believe 2025 will see a slew of EV launches across OEMs, and capital discipline will be key to monitor going forward from here. The other one is Vodafone Idea. UBS has come out with a buy rating, target price of 18. Reports suggest that Vodafone Group will be selling entire stake in Indus Towers, currently owns about 21.5% of Indus. And now the questions will be, could the proceeds be infused into Vodafone Idea, which is highly likely, but the amount will likely not be as big as anticipated, although this is on positive radar. UBS has also come out with a report on Apollo Hospitals with a buy rating. Target price has been raised to 7,500 now for Apollo Hospitals. It believes that in 3 years, they expect the company to have 30 to 40% more beds with higher RPOP and with a 5 to 6% CAGR growth and occupancy as well. And they also believe the integrated health company offers meaningful value for the company in sustaining the leadership on Apollo 24/7 as well. And the other report that I have is a generic report of CLSA. This is on private banks, where CLSA believes that the banks which have been laggards thus far over the past few months will be giving better returns ahead, given a good business outlook and an inexpensive valuation. So these are some of the brokerage houses reports I'm tracking.
Okay, Sakshi, we'll just spend 1 odd minute on Mahindra and Mahindra. I'm requesting the PCR to maybe show 3-month, 1-year charts. As we've discussed earlier and as you've pointed out in detail, that the stock has done extremely well and there are a lot of upgrades. Just a point of concern here, while such upgrades point to possibly a brighter future, but please keep in mind that often such reports are also distributing points for large players who have a substantial stake in the company and therefore take advantage of this froth in the market. So with that background in mind, please consume this data and these target prices. This is how should I say, a bit of a it's not a warning, but it's just a heads up. And Sakshi, just as we had seen the manufacturing sector bloom in terms of stock prices over the last fortnight or so, because manufacturing NFOs came into the market to deploy thousands of crores that they have collected. Similarly, there is an automotive fund in the pipeline which is collecting money from retail investors, and that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why you see a lot of frenetic activity to storehouse stocks such as Eicher Motors, Hero Motors, Tata Motors, Maruti, Force Motors, so on and so forth. A lot of ancillary stocks moving 10, 12, 15% higher, because these are the stocks that are being purchased, that are going to be purchased by those funds maybe 15, 20 days, 1 month in line. And therefore smart investors, deep pocketed investors, ultra HNIs are actually buying these to sell them to funds who will come in 15, 20 days later. Sakshi.
All right. Well, apart from this, I'm also keeping a keen eye out on the primary market as well. There is a new listing that will be happening today, and that is of Lead Travenues Technologies. These shares will be listed today. Remember, the company operates the travel booking platform Ixigo, and the stock market debut will be today after garnering massive subscriptions for the IPO. The IPO of Lead Travenues got subscribed by 98.10 times on the closing day of the subscription on Wednesday last week, and we've actually seen that the company is now looking at a 740 odd crore rupees of initial shares, which has a fresh issue of 120 odd crore rupees, and the rest of it is offer for sale. The price range was very attractive, 88 to 93 rupees per share, and the issue price has now been fixed at 93 rupees. That is the upper band as well. It had got fully subscribed on the first day itself. Now the company has said that they are going to be using the proceeds worth about 45 odd crore rupees from the fresh issue for the working capital requirements. 26 odd crore rupees will be utilized for investments in technology as well as data science, and additionally the funds will be used for supporting inorganic growth as well. So that's going to be key to watch out. Huge subscription. Let us see what the listing price will be of Lead Travenues share.
Okay, let's also shift focus to another set of stocks, and this time in the pharma space. I'm just requesting the PCR to fire the Biocon chart. Remember, in the past month, in this June expiry, the counter's up 7.1%, open interest being up 13.6%. There's important news to track on Biocon. It's received 3 observations from the US FDA following an inspection at its API manufacturing facility at Visakhapatnam. This was on June 14th, and the company said it will respond to those observations within the stipulated time. We don't know what those observations are, but this is something to be watched out for. Jubilant Pharmova, its subsidiary, has announced a $50 million investment to expand its PET radio pharmacy network with 6 new locations across the US. These new facilities will be operational by FY28. So these are the two stocks that also need to be kept in mind. The other point that we saw immense action was all of last week was in ABB, Siemens, BHEL, stocks such as Schneider, so on and so forth. These need to be kept in mind because of the sharp uptick that's happening in the entire capital goods space, and of course all of defense. HAL and Paras Defense are running on news-based events, and of course you should remember the very strong rally that we saw on Garden Reach Shipbuilders, as also BEML on Friday. Both stocks rose about 16% at least. Actually BEML rose about 17.5, and of course Mazgaon, of course Cochin Shipyard. So keep these in mind. Sakshi, railway stocks as well. There is a bit of disturbing news that came in over the weekend of a collision between a goods train and a passenger train. Sadly, there is loss of life, but markets are unemotional, and therefore companies such as Kernex, companies such as HBL Power Systems, those who supply anti-collision devices will be in focus, Sakshi.
Absolutely, and Shail, in the run-up to the budget, it's the railway space that will continue to garner all the attention. There is an entire expectation from the Railways Minister, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav, that this time around in the budget there will be a higher allocation towards the safety provisions within the railways as well within his tenure. Even though we have seen extreme amount of modernity, and activity on modernization of Indian Railways, it is clearly the safety protocols that he is going to be focused on in his next tenure under Modi 3.0. Several other brokerage houses reports I've got my hands on, so let me just reiterate some of them for all our viewers as well. Remember, there is a report across, from various brokerage houses on Nika. Morgan Stanley has an overweight with a 198 target price. Nomura has increased the target price to 203 rupees per share. You also have Bank of America with a 186 rupees target price on Nika. So we'll continue to keep an eye out on how this one also fares. It has been, an unstable stock. When we talk about in the past, it has created a lot of pain for investors in the past as well. But let's see how it goes now that the brokerage houses are turning positive on the stock. Vedanta is going to be in focus. We have at least 4 brokerage houses reports on Vedanta, with Investec, which has upgraded the stock to hold and raised the target price to 345. Nuvama has a buy rating with a target price of 644 rupees per share. CLSA has a buy rating with a target price of 520 on the share, and MOFSL has maintained a neutral rating with a 500 target. So 345 to all the way up to 644 is the kind of range that we are getting on Vedanta as well. Apart from this, there are some other reports. Some negative ones on Dr. Reddy's. Jefferies has maintained an underperform on this one with a target price of 5,010. Citi has maintained a sell on this one with a target price of 5,200. We also have, so these are the key reports on Dr. Reddy's, and this stock could be on reacting negatively in the stock markets today. Share.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are 8:57. We'll be shortly joined by Mr. Dharmesh Kant from Cholamandalam Securities, and of course another technical person will be joining us, Mr. Kunal V. Parar. He's the Vice President of Technical Research at Choice Broking. But like I said, it's Tuesday. Mangalwar hai to Mangal hoga hi. We will focus on Maruti as usual, and of course we'll be paying attention to the entire space in the options world. Remember, we have just 4 working sessions this week. Therefore, all options premia will be completely completely squeezed. Keep that in mind. Of course, the gift Nifty is pointing out to a 100 point uptick. Let's hope it's 50-60 points, and let's hope after 23,500 the Nifty today closes above that level. Sakshi, remember 23,400 was tried 4 times in the last week, and each time the Nifty fell very sharply from that level, 125 points, 140 points from intraday highs. But thankfully it closed well above 23,400 last week. Now the same fight, the same battle between bulls and bears is going to be enacted for 23,500. Remember, elections are around July 22nd next month, and of course we need to close July. We need to close June on a very strong note as far as prices are concerned. I think Kunal Parar has joined us from Choice Broking. Good afternoon, good morning Kunal. Very quickly, 2 stocks that you are looking at on technical charts which might outperform the markets today.
Good morning, Shailji. Now, 2 stocks are there. One is LIC. Right now, it is trading at 1061 level, and the way stock has been trading since last few days, it looks very good to me. One can go for long at present level. If we talk about SL side, then downside SL comes somewhere around 1015, 1015, and if you talk about target side, then the first target would be at 1095, and if stocks gives a breakout of this 1095, then 1155 would be there, 1155. And second stock is from M&M. The way stock has been trading in an uncharted territory, the way stock has given a breakout of its recent top, it looks very good to me. And from the present level, I think these stocks may further spurt from during upcoming trading sessions, so one can go for long in this stock. Right now stock is trading at 2920 level. One can go for at present level. Downside support comes at somewhere around 2870. So 2870 would be our SL. And if we talk about target size, then 2960 would be our first target. And if stocks gives a breakout of this level, then we can see somewhere around 3020 level as well.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll focus on the pre-open prices. The Nifty is marginally in the green, 23,486 for you. Let's look at the top performers within the Nifty. Prepayment of spectrum charges, Bharti is up 5%, 1498. Absolutely no reason to presume that this is not a record high. It is. M&M changes a digit, 3003. Very strong investor day news coming in, lots of brokerage upgrades, 2.6% higher. ONGC news driven, 1.5% higher, 279.50. Strong move coming into Adani Enterprises, 1.1% higher, 3300. I also want to see what the index heavyweights are doing. Let's start with Reliance. It's down 0.85% at 2930. Let's start with Infosys, flat at 1489 despite a lot of price upgrades, and HDFC Bank down 0.8% at 1584. The Nifty is consolidating now, 56 points higher. Sakshi, we are above 23,500. This is a very strong move that is coming in. Let's hope it continues. We'll just do a very quick detour into NSE 500. Look at the winners. Well, Paytm 10% higher, 467. News coming in that Zomato wants to buy its entertainment business for 2,000 crore rupees. Very good move for companies such as Paytm. Well, news driven HBL Power 10% higher. Remember, they make the anti-collision device for railways, 525, and HAL 5.7% higher, 5,500 for you. Now almost a record high. Very quickly we look at top losers. Well, Ramakrishna Forgings, Indus Stars 3% lower, Bajaj Auto 1.5% lower, ICICI Bank 1.3% lower. Nothing to be worried about. One very quick look at F&O stocks. I want to see what Apollo Hospitals is doing. Remember, Sakshi pointed out to a very strong upgrade that has come in. Apollo Hospitals flat at 62.19, and again Sakshi, no stopping ABB 1 percentage point higher, 9100. What are you watching?
Absolutely, Shell. A whole host of these stocks have been run away after these positive brokerage houses reports. Let's also look at, apart from the ones you've highlighted, Vodafone Idea to see how that one is opening. Remember, UBS has a higher target on this one to see how the stock is moving up. Bharti Airtel has already, yes, there's a 1.6% up move on this too. Apart from this, let's also look at stocks from the railway space. So RVNL turned out to be the lowest bidder for 160 odd crore rupees project. Let's look at that one, how that one is reacting. Parag Milk Foods has raised the milk prices by 2 rupees. Let's see if that one is moving within the broader market space as well. Of course, you've already, yes, 1.5% higher for RVNL. Let's also look at the oil upstream stocks. Remember, we were talking about the windfall tax cut and ONGC Oil India. Let's pull up those stocks as well to see how they are reacting. Within the auto space, apart from M&M, it's Eicher Motors that's up by about 0.1% odd or so. So those are kind of moves that we are getting. Oil India is up by 0.5% and ONGC also up. Eicher Motors is indicating a positive start as well to the trade right now. Apart from this, let's also look at Nika, slew of brokerage houses upgrades coming in on that one if the stock has reacted on that front too. But of course, it is clearly yes, 1.1% higher. The defense names that should be in focus today. Let's again look at Paras Defense. Remember, the stock was higher by about 20 odd percent on Friday. And let's see if that one has reacted. Adani Enterprises, let's pull up that one as well, where the promoter has raised stakes and as Paras Defense is another 6.5% higher in trade, 1.3% higher for Adani Enterprises too. Let's also look at how Zomato is reacting to the news, after Paytm. Of course, Paytm is 10% higher. Let's also look at Zomato, about a percent higher at 188 odd rupees right now. So those are the kind of stocks that we are looking at. Kunal, anything else that has looked positive to you within the pre-opening trade? Kunal, are you on mute by any chance? We couldn't hear you.
Yes. Yes, sorry. So actually, we were talking about this defense stocks and the way this stocks looks, on chart. Particularly, if you talk about Paras right now, it is trading with upper circuit. Not only this, if you talk about BEL, BEML, HAL, and all, this stocks looks very good to me on a daily chart. The way stocks has been trading on a uncharted territory, so we can expect good bounce back as well in these counters. And if I talk about particularly one stock, then BEL is there, the way stock has been trading and the way stock has given a recovery on a daily chart. I think it may touch to its all-time high level 323, and if stock gives breakouts of this 323, then 360 would be there. So yes, it's a buy signal from my side in BEL with the strict SL of 295. And if we talk about other stocks, then please, if you have these stocks in your portfolio, then please hold these stocks because risk reward is not favorable at this level for price buying recommendation. But yes, you can go for holding these stocks in for good upside movement, somewhere around, you can say, 8 to 9%.
Okay, got that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 105-point uptick on the Nifty, Sakshi, and
Yes.
23,500 for the moment is Bill the Bulls. Actually, it's 23,570. So one thought that comes into mind is that will this gap up sustain, which essentially means that will the Nifty flatten out after opening, or will this gap up be filled? Remember, the close was 23,465 on Friday. We are opening at 23,570. So that's the gap that is there between Friday's close and Tuesday's open. Normally what we have seen is that the Nifty slips down in the first 15, 20, 30 minutes of trade, fills this gap, and then again you have a very, very strong up move. Sakshi, it's railway stocks all the way because of the tragedy that happened over the weekend. The anti-collision device makers are in demand. 10% higher on HBL Power, 526. Kernex Microsystems, which also makes a similar product, is up 5%, limit up 406. And the entire railway pack of 22 stocks that we track, all 22 of them are up in the green. As far as PSUs are concerned, let me just point out the winners. HAL 5% higher. You have Power Finance Corporation 2.8% higher. Dredging Corporation 1.8% higher. Nothing much in terms of gains. Let's look at the losers. Okay, Bank of India 0.7% down, GRAC Ray 0.5% lower, Hind Copper 0.2% lower. So it's essentially more of a railways day. And within defense, let's see what all has moved in. Okay, Paras and HAL are up 5% each. The shipbuilders are quiet, 1% each on Mazgaon, Cochin Shipyard and Garden Reach, actually less than 1%. But it's BDL, BEL, which is about a percent higher. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Indigo, it's a high about 1.5%. I wanted to ask Kunal, how are we now going to be looking at trading Indigo now? Now that the news flow is there, and we've reiterated for our viewers as well. Anything 4,300 currently? How would you trade it?
Well, right now stock is trading at 4,300. It's been trading in uncharted territory since last 1 month, and recently stock also has given a breakout of its recent top. No doubt, technical formation wide it also looks good. So it's a clear long signal from my side. One can get into the stock at 4,300. If we talk about SL side, then SL would be slightly lower level at 4,000. Now, if you talk about target size, then we can see good target in the counter during upcoming trading session. First target would be at 4,525, which would be 5% from the present level. And we talk about ultimate target, then 4,900 would be there. So, Sakshi, you can say 13 to 14% of return we can see in this counter with the strict SL of 4,000. So, one can get into the stock at present level.
Okay, and the other two stocks which are in focus, how are you going to be looking at those? Is both the internet-based stocks, Zomato, the food delivery major, and Paytm on the other side. So Zomato is looking at acquiring the entertainment business of Paytm. How are you looking at both these stocks? Both have opened higher, with Paytm definitely inching about 5% higher now.
Yes, both stocks looks good to me. Particularly, let's first talk on Zomato. Right now, in pre-opening, it is trading at 187.50. So one can get into the stock at present level, and it seems that the stock is about to give a breakout of its range bound momentum, in which it was trading since last 4 to 5 days. So one can get into the stock at 187.50. If we talk about SL side, then SL would be at 179. Okay. Now, if we talk about target wise, then first target would be at 194, and if stocks gives breakouts of this particular 194 level, then we can see 205 as well. So again, we can say 9 to 10% of return that we can expect, particularly in this counter. Now let's talk on this Paytm. The way stock has been trading in pre-opening, it is trading at 442 level, and on weekly chart, strong resistance was there somewhere around 423. Stock is trading above this level, so it's a clear breakout that we have been observing since last 2 to 3 days. So one can go for this stock in long side at 442. If you talk about SL side, then SL would be slightly at lower below for 415. And if you talk about target size, then first target would be at 463, and ultimate target would be at 496.
Okay.
Okay. Dharmeshji is with us. Good morning to you, Dharmeshji, and a very warm welcome in market today on this lovely Tuesday morning. One or two stocks that you are looking at as far as trade is concerned today, or maybe in the medium or long term. So what looks good?
Yeah, good morning, Shailji. I think, the structural story of defense stocks continues. We have heard again, a defense order coming to HAL for the light combat helicopters, around 156 is there, and this will keep on coming. And the good part about this is these orders are now a quality orders where it not only boosts your top line, but also the margins and the profitability. And this is the structural story which is in offering. So HL will continue to be the topic from the defense basket. The other was the DCX system on which we have initiating coverage. And defense minister has already been tweeted that around exports would be where the area they will be looking forward to. And that is where this company primarily operates. Around 95% of its revenue and profitability comes from defense sector. And that too from Hilta, which is a Israeli defense company. So things are happening fast in this space. So we will be sticking to defense themes, railway themes, and couple of public sector themes from the insurance and banking space. For today's trade, I think these two should be kept on radar for a couple of days or 3 days kind of a trading system.
Right. HAL, ladies and gentlemen, is trying to open 5% higher. And remember, let me just confirm the all-time high for HAL. I remember it was somewhere in the vicinity of 5,500 only. Let me just get that clearly. Hindustan Aeronautics, HAL. Okay, the all-time high, yes. We are opening at an all-time high. The previous one was 54.44, which was seen on 3rd of June. And of course, it's opening at 54.60. And remember, this is a futures and options stock. So it operates on those circuit filters, first 10%, and then it moves up or down. So it works both ways, but for the moment it's looking up. There's a pause at 10% for about 15 minutes, and then it goes up. 9:14, we are just a couple of seconds away from market open. It's going to be a good day. 105 points higher on the Nifty, fresh record high 23,570. The Nifty Bank is trying to open 200 points higher. Nifty 500 about 0.5% higher. Going is good. Let's see whether this continues or not. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have prices. 82 points higher on the Nifty, 23,550. 121 points higher on the Nifty Bank, 51,150. Strong move coming on NSE 500, 86 points higher, 22,300. Again, this is a fresh high. Let's look at the contributors to this Nifty's move. We'll first focus on what Reliance is doing. 3 rupees down, 29.50. HDFC Bank 2.6 lower as far as prices are concerned. Let's look at FNO, and I want to see what M&M is doing. M&M at the moment is 1.55% higher, 29.74. A nice muted response to terrific upgrades that have come in over the weekend. HAL is top gainer, 3.9% higher, 5409. Vodafone Idea, series of good news happening in, 1.3% higher, almost 17 rupees for you. There's no stopping Adani Enterprises, 2% higher, 33.29. Let's very quickly look at NSE 500 and then reach out to Kunal. Okay, news driven. HBL Power 8% higher, 518. GPIL, that's Godavari Power and Ispat Limited, fresh buyback at 1400 rupees. The counter is 8% higher, 1170. What else is moving? Paytm 2.2% higher, 434. This is all news driven. Railtel 2.2% higher, 429. Natco Pharma 2.8% higher, 1244. A very quick look into FNO. Let's look at top performers. BEL 2.2% higher, 316.60. Adani Ports 1.2% higher, 1447, and ONGC 1.3% higher, 278. It's a nice green thread that's opening in the market. Let's look at the broader markets as well. Advanced decline ratio is 1748 shares in the green, just 268 in the red. We track 19 indices for you, ladies and gentlemen. 18 of them are in the green, led by the Nifty Small Cap Index. Kunal, coming to you. What catches your fancy?
Right now, Nifty and Bank Nifty both are looking at good level, but we already talk about LIC and M&M, both are running trading at a good level. But apart from these stocks, a few stocks are there which looks particularly good to me, and one is ITI. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart, right now it is trading up by 3%. But the way stock has given a breakout of its rainbow momentum. Not only this, during an opening session itself, stock is trading with good volume activity. Right now, volume stands at 6.5 lakh. So it's a clear buy signal from my side. One can go for long in these stocks, particularly right now it is trading at 317 with a strict SL of 305. And if we talk about target side, then first target would be at 326, which is its previous top. And if stock gives breakouts of this top, then we can see further spurt up to the level of 342, which would be somewhere around 7 to 8%. So one can get into the stock in ITI at present level with strict SL of 305.
Okay, got that. Let's also look at some of the other stocks that are buzzing in trade. Remember, the oil and gas stocks are in focus. HOEC is opening up about 5.5% higher. ONGC, Oil India, both up into the green. Minor gains coming in on that one. Defense space is taking it away. Apart from HAL, which is up 5% at 54 odd levels, it is Paras Defense that has now seen a 0.8% equity exchange hands and now is again up about 12.5% higher. And yes, now 13% higher, 1307 right now. So Paras Defense in clear focus, HAL is in focus, and the rest of the space stocks are buzzing in trade. Within the telecom space, remember HFCL is another one that is in focus, about 6% higher in trade right now. IFL Finance upgrades coming in about 3% higher, 483 right now for this stock as well. Of course, we have seen the indices clock in record high moves. Paytm is up by about 0.7% and half odd percent gains for Zomato as well. So we are looking at these particular stocks, Sensex Nifty, Nifty Midcap, all at record high levels right now. These are some of the stocks that are buzzing in trade. Let me get Dharmesh ji into the conversation. Dharmesh defense stocks, Garden Reach now 7% higher, Paras Defense about 13% up in trade, HAL another 6% higher. How are you looking at the defense space now?
Yes, actually, good morning. I think the positive structural story continues in the all the defense space, and the incremental news flow. I mean, this is the sector which has been the at the maximum action post the swearing in of the government, and things are happening quite fast out there. I think see the valuation wise, the comfort won't be there if you look at the 2 year, 3 year kind of a story. But if you are looking at say 5 to 7 years, and that is the way only to look at these companies from here on. So there are two things to it. One is the order book is swelling fast. The other is the quality of the order book. That has been on the far higher and better side. It's more of a product driven rather than service and operation maintenance kind of a thing where the margins are significantly higher. So making all those into account, I think the story will continue. One has to be a bit selective and bit rational in stock selection. So HA and BL on the top of the radar is always good. At the same time, you can look at say a data patterns or a Keynes Technologies, Sarma, DCX system. All these are doing well. In the shipbuilding side, I think Cochin Shipyard is also a good valuation bargain buy in the current level. So we are going with a basket kind of a theory. As long as you stick to the basket, there will be a couple of days when there will be consolidation, some slight correction, but over a period of 3 months, 6 months, 9 month time frame, the gains are likely to be much better than your entry price.
Okay, let me get Kunal into the conversation. Kunal, let's discuss Paras Defense on course. I think to hit that 20% upper circuit, it's already up about 18 odd percent right now. 7 lakh shares have exchange hands. That's 1.8% equity. 88.7 crore worth of shares have exchange hands at an average price of 1252 rupees per share, 17.8%. How are you advising everyone?
Well, today's stock made its all-time high. Right now, it is trading at 1356 level, and I mean, since long we all were anticipating these stocks, to enter into an uncharted territory, and today we are witnessing the same. So no doubt it's a clear buy signal, but at present level one should wait because right now stock is trading with 17% upside momentum with gap of opening, and the way stock has been trading, if you have this stock in your portfolio, please hold this stock. We can see a good upside momentum, but for a fresh buy, please wait for the time being because risk reward is not that favorable. But if you have this stock in the portfolio, then we can see hold these stocks. We can see a good upside momentum up to the level of somewhere around first level will be at 1460, and if stocks gives breakouts of this 1460, then it may march up to the level of 1700 as well. So if you have the stocks, then please hold the stocks.
Sakshi, you are putting Kunal in a very, very difficult situation. After 18% rise and the limit is 20%, what can Kunal say except कि भाई अब आपके पास है पोर्टफोलियो में तो इसको ना बेचे एंड Sakshi, I think that's the most sensible advice that one can possibly hand out. And Dharmesh ji has also said that you see the quality and the texture of defense orders is changing. It's very difficult to suggest to buy into stocks which have doubled already in a month or so. But if you're lucky enough to have them in your portfolio, possibly this is not the time to book profit. If there is a global institutional investor that's getting into the stock, such as Paras Defense with a buy of about 5 lakh shares, one must sort of stick around and see what happens. Look at how Cochin Shipyard, Garden Reach, Mazgaon Dock have sort of changed the entire complexion of investor portfolios. There's, by the way, a digit change in Mazgaon. It is now above 4,000. Cochin Shipyard, Sakshi, what do we discuss on Cochin Shipyard? We've been at it from 750 rupees onwards, and it has been an unambiguous buy from those levels. Dharmesh ji is saying at current levels, Cochin Shipyard is relatively inexpensive compared with all that you see, and of course the order book position. So these are lovely counters to hold on to if you have them. And if you still want to participate, there is HDFC Defence Fund for you, which we talked about at 15 rupee levels. It is now at 23 rupees, actually the NAV. So that's 130% appreciation of a fund in less than 6 months. आपको इससे ज़्यादा और क्या चाहिए? But such is life. And what are the other stocks that are moving? Infosys has started to click in, thankfully. Remember the brokerage reports Sakshi read out. Yes. So 1509. Kunal, what are the charts of Infosys telling you?
Well, Shailji, if you talk about this stock, it looks very good to me. Right now, stock is trading at 1505 level. And for trading perspective, yes, so one can get into the stock at 1505 with the strict SL of 1480. If we talk about target wise, then first target would be at 1525, and if stock gives breakouts of this 1525, then we can see upside movement again up to the level of 1555. But not only this, means this looks very good to me for medium term to long term as well. We can see somewhere around 1700 level as well in this counters, I think in 2024 itself. So yes, for trading perspective to short term, medium term, long term, definitely this stocks looks very good to me, sir.
Okay.
Sakshi, just a point to note, Nifty Bank is now in the red, 70 points lower, below 50,000 now. Also, the Nifty is trying to fill the gap that it opened with, now at 23,505. Remember, the first support level has been broken at 23,525. There is nothing to be worried about. In fact, it's good that the gap that happens at 9:15 gets filled up the same day, because it has to be filled up and then it creates problems a week, 10 days later. So we are now waiting for this gap to be filled up, and then maybe in the next 15-20 minutes let us see whether the uptrend continues. But Hale and Hearty are Nifty 500, Hale and Hearty are the small cap 100 index, and there is absolutely no problem with the mid cap index at 55,270. Sakshi, what are you watching?
The housing finance names, Shail, I wanted to just take a view with the LIC housing finance still ticking higher in trade. And, this theme began just about 10 days ago when the government and the cabinet cleared additional 3 crore households under the PM Awas Yojana. And therefore, this entire theme came back in focus in hopes that in the run-up to the budget, of course, there will be extreme action. And of course, in the budget, we'll spell out more details on how the government plans to move this space. So LIC Housing Finance is up about 1.5%. Let's also look at the others. So GIC, Awas, Home First Finance, the entire theme has been buzzing in trade. Dharmesh, how are you looking at these housing finance names? Do they look appealing to you at the current valuations?
Yeah, definitely, Sakshi. We have been constructive on the space, and things have moved up for this quite significantly. around almost all the stocks have moved up around 10 to 12% on an average basis. But again, I think the juice is still being left. Let's see if something is actually being rolled out, because there has not been any soup on the housing finance for the middle income investors. So I mean, that is the segment where expectation is there something would be rolled out in the budget, and then their offtake will increase. So there we think Canfin Homes, LIC Housing Finance, and Aadhar Housing Finance. These are the companies which looks attractive. And historically, they are still, 15-20% away from their upper band of the valuation multiple. And this market is all about finding some value, I mean, relative value, where you can have some comfort and the margin of safety playing out. So this is one space which is playing out. We should stay invested. If you are not invested, there is no harm in buying even fresh now.
Okay, got that. So that's the housing finance names. The other theme I wanted to discuss is the power space. Let me get you, Kunal, on that one. Stocks like Power Grid again are moving in trade about 1% higher or so. Are you also looking at this space constructively? And where exactly are you keeping your focus? Is it the power producers, the traditional NTPC, Power Grid, Coal India names? Are you looking at the financiers again, PFC, REC of sorts, or are you looking at some of the ancillaries here? Where exactly are you keeping your focus?
Well,
So,
if you talk about Coal India's peer, or if you talk about Power Grid's peer, or if you talk about finance like REC's peers, all these stocks looks very good, particularly on a daily chart, and the way government has been working on these power sectors. I think we can see a very good upside momentum in all these stocks, particularly. But right now, let's talk on Power Grid, because on an early chart, stock has given a breakout of its range bound momentum, and the way stock has been trading above its 50 MA on early chart, it looks very good to me. Particularly, one can go for the long, particularly in these counters at 326 with the SL of 318. And if we talk about target size, and first target would be at 332, and stock, if stock gives breakouts of this 332, then we can see 342 as well. Not only this, there are other stocks as well, and I think you mentioned NTPC as well. So let's talk on this NTPC part, the way stock has been trading on an early chart. And after this 4th of June fall, stocks they very smartly bounced back. Right now it is trading at 370 level above its 50 mm on early chart. So again, it looks good to me. One can go for a long, but in this stock at 370. Downside SL comes at 362. First target, if you talk about, then first target would be at 376, and second target would be at 386.
Okay, got that. So that's the power space for you, and the view coming in on that front as well. Auto space is again garnering attention, Dharmesh ji. M&M we started discussing first on the show today, and Kunal also gave his views. How are you looking at the entire space, and slew of upgrades now coming in on M&M with the outlook that 13 new SUVs will be coming in, and of course, after the management takeaways as well, we've seen brokerage houses upgrading the stock.
yeah, definitely. I mean, a significant part of the re-rating has already happened in M&M, and still people are expecting 50% more kind of upside in this counter. If comparing it with, say, a Maruti, so there's definitely a scope for re-rating on the multiples front for M&M, and SUV is a segment which has done the trick for this company. So that's the only segment which has been firing pretty well. As far as farm equipment is concerned, they are the largest player, but I think, I mean, I have my own doubts about the monsoon thing. So far it has been a deficient monsoon across the country. Let's see how it pans out. But any delay in sowing and everything does have its impact. It has to be a time-bound monsoon on a regular basis, then only farmers can have a better benefit. Otherwise, there may be rainfall, but if it is delayed, then you have a lesser cultivation and crop production happening. Having said that, given a choice in the entire space, I think Tata Motors is still a better bet on a valuation front compared to an M&M. But yes, the upside momentum is likely to be there for some more time. My preferred big bet from picks from the two-wheelers in the entire this CB, PV, and two-wheeler space is Tata Motors and Bajaj Auto.
Okay. Sakshi, two stocks that are buzzing in trade. One is Titan. There has been an upgrade from Geojit Financial Securities with a price target of 4,000 rupees, and the stock is doing pretty well. Now up for a third day, and of course, this was the last in 30th April when you saw this price. Kunal, coming to you, the charts of Titan Company, what are they telling you?
Well, it clearly tells that it may touch its upper level of somewhere around the 3840, which was its previous top, and if stock gives breakouts of this 3840, then 4200 would be there. So it's a clear, bullish signal on the chart that I am looking after. But CLG, again, it's not advisable to get into the stock at present level for fresh buying, because downside. No, SL strong support comes at 3370. Okay, so if you have these stocks in your portfolio, then please hold this for an upside target of 840, and afterwards we can see 4200 as well.
Okay. And Sakshi, one news-driven stock, and sadly, this is not news which is really good. In fact, it's a bit abhorrent. It's on Som Distilleries. Raids over the weekend have revealed that some child labor was involved at a distillery plant in UP, and the stock has sort of fallen fairly sharply. What is the price on Som Distilleries? At the moment 16 rupees lower, and in fact it had opened gap down, but some effort to bottom fish was not helpful. It went all the way up to 117, now back at 107. This is just news that has come in over the weekend about massive how should I say, breaking of rules, excise department rules. Not only regulatory action, but disciplinary action has been taken. So please keep Som on your radar. The volume is already 42 lakh shares in the first 20 minutes of trade, which is the highest since 26th of April. So keep this in mind, and this is not something that the market appreciates, and of course you see this selling pressure accelerating. There's no stopping M&M, ladies and gentlemen, 2% higher, 29.92. It's reclaiming the digit change that it saw in early trade. Sakshi, there's a digit change in Bajaj Auto, 5 digits now, 10,053, about a percent higher, and of course there will be a digit change in Garden Reach fairly shortly, 1798 for you. Decent block size trades happening, and within the railways packets, RailTel, that is doing fairly good job, 445, top gainer as of now within the railway pack. Kunal, your view on RailTel?
Well, right now stock is trading at 344 right now. It is trading at up by 5.70%. And if we talk about volume activity, the volume stands at 32 lakh, above average of its 2-week average. And on the early chart, stock has also given a breakout of flag formation, which is like a continuation formation. So definitely, it's a clear long side call for me. So one can get into the stock at present level, but SL would be a little bit lower. Okay, so SL would be at 415, so which would be like 7 to 6% from the 6% down from the present level. So you can get into the stock at the present level with strict SL of 415. If we talk about target size, and first target is 470, and second target would be at 505.
Okay, got that. So that's the view coming in on the railway space stocks as well. Okay, let's just see whether there is any news on that as well. We'll just scout for that in the. Okay, I think we will come to some of the other news flows as well. But Dharmesh ji, let me come to you with respect two stocks. I was discussing with Kunal on the power space stocks. I wanted your view on especially stocks within the mid and the small cap space from the power space. Of course, we discuss a whole lot on Power Grid, NTPC, Power Finances, but beyond this, Godavari Power, HBL Power, the way they are coming up in trade, how are these particular stocks looking? Should one now look at the power theme from the stocks which are now starting to move, which have not participated thus far?
Yes, actually, I mean, your voice was a bit sketchy, but what I could understand is the power space, what are the places which are still interesting and offer some juice on the table. So I think most of the power producer or power generators have moved up significantly, be it JSW Energy or a Tata Power. So the NTPC itself has moved up quite a bit. Power grid as a distribution channel has also come up. So distribution generation segment should be avoided as of now. HBL power has more to do with EV side of the batteries, and it's more of a battery play on the entire theme. Earlier it used to manufacture batteries for the entire railway compartments. The EC which was run in the railway compartments was also HBL power, and they have been diversifying well and has been already re-rated. I think one space where still offers a very big valuation comfort is REC and PFC. So these power financiers will be there, and as more and more generation capacity sets in, and they would be required to get financed. And these two are a deep pocket valuation play, even at current levels, offering very good return on equity. And the erstwhile problem of NPAs and everything is now through. Their asset quality is totally under control. And the new system of power distribution, which is happening, or the awards which are being given by the government, is already PPA kind of a model which takes care of maximum output which should be there from a new plant. So PFC RSC, one can play it, and along with that, one has to be very, very selective in seeing the sense. So I think power finances are the space where one should be looking into at current levels in this euphoric market.
Okay. Got that. Kunal, the other space that we should be looking at today is the IT space as well. The technology space stocks are buzzing. And of course, this was led by the move on Infosys today. Across the board, we are seeing some more moves coming in. How are you really looking at the IT space stocks like the LTI, Mindtree, Tech Mahindra? And because the index is now up about what 0.7% or so, Wipro is higher. Of course, it's been on a constant move since last week. Odd. How are you really looking at some of these names, and which are your top favorites?
Well, we already discussed about the Infosys, but it looks very good to me for trading perspective to short term, medium term, long term. But if you talk about Wipro, then Wipro is also look good to me. Particularly right now, stock is trading at 491 level above its previous top, and not only this stock is trading above 21 days moving average, which is which suggests that the stock is in uptrend only. So again, one can get into the stock at 490 with a strict SLR 475. If we talk about target wise, then first target comes at 502, and if stock gives breakout of this 502, then the 520 would be there. So yes, Wipro looks good to me. Not only this, if we talk about other stocks as well, then TCS is there, HCL Technology is there, TechM is there. All the stocks look very good on a daily chart. But yes, particularly two stocks are there, Infosys and Wipro, where I am seeing a good risk reward.
Okay. Sakshi, just to point out the heavy demand for counters in the cash market is what is driving momentum on Dalal Street. The first 8 stocks in the most active list of shares are either defense counters or railway counters. The entire IMAC space, that is the India-Middle East corridor that is envisaged between the western peninsula of India, Mumbai onwards into the Middle East and then on to Europe, consists of 4 railway stocks, 1 PSU shipping company. All of them are in the green. Let me just mark them for the benefit of our viewers, and you will see RVNL 3% higher at 402, Shipping Corporation of India 3.8% higher, 281. Ircon and Rights are about 2.5% higher, and of course IRFC 1.6% higher. Adani Ports is also buzzing 1.2% higher, so you need to keep these in space. And of course the three which are still in the red are Steel Authority and Jindal Steel and Power. They make railway tracks. They are quasi IMAC stocks, but you need to look at least the entire railway pack. And of course Shipping Corporation of India 4% higher, 282. Kunal, I think Shipping Corporation deserves a look on the charts. What is it telling you?
Well, right now stock is trading at 282 level above its previous top. Not only this, stock has been trading above all its long-term moving averages, and it's about to enter into its uncharted territory, after which we can see a good upside momentum in the counter. But what about if we get into the stock right now? So SailG, yes, it's look attractive and the risk reward is proper at present level. Downside strong support comes at 260, and right now stock is trading at 281. No doubt stock ISL is ISL is a little bit lower, somewhere 7%, but yes, we can see a good upside momentum in the counter from present level. First target would be at 297 and ultimate target at 323, which would be somewhere around 14 to 15% from the present level. So risk reward is good, risk reward is attractive. On a daily chart one can get into the stock with strict SL of 260.
Okay. And Sakshi, another good news for Nifty traders. The Nifty has tested its early morning lows of 23,500, and from then on the recovery has started. We are now at 23,557, and all the big boys are contributing. Infosys, which was a series of upgrades that you've pointed out, has contributed 11 points. Absolutely no stopping M&M. This is possibly the Nifty stock of the day, 2.3% higher, 16 points. Series of very, very strong upgrades coming in from nearly all brokerage houses, whether they are domestic or Indian, and price targets are really about in the range of 3,300 to 3,500. Please keep that in mind. We have discussed Titan contributing 7 points, SBI and news-led Bharti Airtel contributing 7 and 5 points respectively. What's pulling the index lower? Surprise, Maruti, but it's okay, nothing much to lose there. Dr. Reddy's, Kotak, Ultratech, Shree Cement. These are not stocks that are heavy on the index in terms of weights that they enjoy. But Garden Reach, now change of a digit, 1835. It's the top gainer on NSE 500. This one needs to be looked into. And not only is this the top gainer and amongst the all-time highs, the volume structure on GREC has also undergone a dramatic change. Coming to you, Kunal, would you be chasing Garden Reach or would you stay away from this one?
Definitely. Right now, stock is trading at 13 level upside momentum. Not only this, if we talk about its downside support, then support comes at 1500. So it's not a good candidate for initiate fresh long. But yes, if you have these stocks in your portfolio, then please hold these stocks, because the way stock has been trading, and as per the Fibonacci extension, we again see somewhere around 2100 to 2200 upside momentum in the counter. So yes, it's not a candidate for fresh recommendation, but you can hold these stocks in your portfolio.
Okay. So that's the...
And one stock that I'd like to mark. Yes, Sakshi, please continue.
No, Shail, it's okay. Continue.
I just wanted to mark HBL Power and take Dharmeshji's view on it. Dharmeshji's stock has sort of slipped from all-time high levels of 610 to what was 486 just now. Do you have hope for HBL Power?
I just commented, I mean, we would avoid this counter because it has moved quite a bit. And I mean, this are EV trade being playing out here. But I think power sector, we have a better place, and power finances are the ones where we are looking into it. So no fresh buying is recommended here. It may continue to ride the momentum with your stop losses in place. and that is how the space has been buzzing around. But valuation wise, it has hit the roof. That is what I think about it.
Okay, I just wanted to very quickly point out for all our viewers that there is a new listing today of Ixico, which I mentioned. And on the BSE, Ixico shares have settled in the pre-opening trade at 135 rupees as against the issue price of 93 rupees. Remember, there was already an indication of about a 30% premium in the grey market. The premium now is indicative of 49% of a premium listing today of Ixico or Lee Travel News, which is the operator of this travel platform. On NSE, it's even higher, 138.1 as against the issue price of 93. So sharp moves over 50% of premium listing is what we can expect. 10 minutes from now is what we will be getting the actual price of this one. Dharmeshji, on Ixico, did you all have the report which could have indicated whether one should be really looking at this company from a long term or for listing gains? And what would you say on Ixico now?
Sakshi, we have not covered this company, so I can't comment on that.
Okay. All right, we'll continue to keep an eye out on this one. Let's again look at some of the other big movers. Shell, it's Cochin Shipyard, which is now at 2240. So far, sharp 5.5% move on this one. There is no stopping, and tomorrow we will be hoping to get Gaurang Shah back on the show to discuss his favorite stock, Cochin Shipyard, and of course the Panch Pandavs that he has shared with us. Now 6.5% higher at 2258. No stopping Cochin Shipyard, no stopping GRSC. Mazagon is up by about 7.5%. So the shipbuilder stocks are rallying apart from the poster boys HAL, BEL, BML, BDL. The entire space seems to be skyrocketing clearly, and there is no clear stopping over here. But the big question, Dharmeshji, is that, all those people who have been having FOMO, what should they do now? I mean, is it still an entry point within some of these stocks? Should one go through the fund route like what Shell is indicating? Now that even Motilal Oswal has come out with that index defense fund as well, which is still open, by the way, until June of 24th. So that is what the option is in front of the viewers as well. Of course, nowadays, now every investor is feeling that, this is one space that one should not be staying away from. But what is the prudent way or strategy to approach defense names?
I think it's better to go through a fund route rather than going directly into the equity at these kind of levels. Because what happens actually, if suppose is some news flow or some market correction happening and these stocks correct by say 5 or 10%. So as an individual investor, it becomes very difficult for you to actually gauge the business impact. So there may be a market impact because of which a stock price has taken a correction, but there is no business impact. It continues as usual. So as an individual investor, if you are not fully hooked onto the market, so it becomes difficult to analyze, and then the panic button sets in and you are out of the stock. And after 2 months or 3 months, you realize that the stock is 20% higher from your exit level. So to avoid that, it's always prudent to give it into the hands of a professional managers, fund managers, so they would do a more justice to such kind of companies which are trading at multi-year high levels. So that is what we have done. We have also created a basket and recommended to our clients, which we are actively monitoring, but that's more of an advisory nature. For investors, I think fund is the only choice right now, the way these stock prices are setting.
Sakshi, I have this interesting theory that those investors who bought into HDFC Defense Fund will be selling to the potential investors who are getting into Motilal Oswal Defense Fund. So this is possibly what is going to happen. And just as you saw this very sharp surge in all capital goods stocks over the last 15 days before the NFO of HDFC Manufacturing Fund started investing. The same story is getting repeated in the defense pack. So Motilal Oswal Index Defense Fund will be a buyer the moment the entire proceeds come into it. I think June 24th is the last date for that fund. Let me just confirm that to you. Okay, end date is 24th June 2024. So at least till then this rally should remain in place, and then it is more the luck and fortune of Motilal Oswal Nifty India Defence Index Fund shareholders to navigate. But the beauty of this market is, Sakshi, after every 6 months another sectoral fund comes up, and you will see other AMCs offering the same portfolio. So that's good, but a word of caution, this is really overheated. What else is moving? Samvardhana Motherson and Motherson Sumi Wiring. Both stocks at record highs, and again the same underlying theme. SBI Automotive Index Fund, the NFO was open until recently. This is not to say that these two stocks that I am talking about are being purchased by that particular fund, but the entire auto ancillary space is abuzz with gains. Coming to you, Dharmesh ji, any auto ancillary stock that you think at current levels offers modest valuations and a strong upside from present prices, sir?
So Shailji, you wanted to throw a googly on at me, so that I am clearly stopped. So as far as valuation is concerned, I don't think by going by the state of the art or the book kind of a study, any auto ancillary space offers a valuation comfort as of now. And it's all about liquidity, which is being chasing the market so high. But still, now the game is you find a relative comfort where the story is far bigger, I mean, compared to the others, and still a P multiple, some bargain is there. So there, I think Craftsman Automation, JBM Auto, Rolex Rings, these are the companies which still look pretty good, and Uno Minda as well. I mean, Motherson, Sony, Samvardhan and all, they are fine, but the point is even promoters have been selling in this company. So I generally avoid companies where promoters are sellers in their own company. So one should be mindful of that. Other than that, you can enjoy the ride, but valuation comfort, there's hardly any valuation comfort in this entire market strategy. So that's the problem.
Right. Absolutely. Dharmesh ji, what about IIFL Finance? The stock is now up 7.5% at 505 odd levels. And the company has said that they have addressed all of the RBI's concerns. Should one now, whoever has been waiting for a clear indication that things are back to normalcy, should one be looking at afresh on IIFL Finance? Is the worst behind?
Seems like, I mean, definitely seems like the worst is behind. So, I mean, bargain buyers and traders can definitely look into it. But my, I mean, limited point is you have better place in the financial space itself, which is more on a clear water. So, better focus on there rather than, getting a bargain opportunity for something which has already been marred with some corporate, I mean, governance kind of an issue out there. So, that one should be mindful of. Otherwise, it does look like the worst is behind this company now.
Okay, got that. Kunal, how are you looking at the charts of IIFL Finance now? What is the next target coming on your radar?
Well, if you talk about this IIFL Finance, right now stock is trading at 502 level, up by 7%. Stock is about to give a breakout of its recent top, which was placed at 499. Now stock is trading above that level, but we did confirmation as well on an hourly charts. So definitely it looks good to me, particularly at this level. If one can get into the stock at present level, definitely one can go with the strict SL of 465. Okay, now if we talk about target wise, then first target would be at 535, and if stock gives breakouts of this 535 and 585 even we can see, which would be somewhere around 15 to 16% from the present level. So yes, one can get into the stock with the strict SL of 465.
Okay. Sakshi, I think the Nifty is facing some problems in overcoming 23,580. But what is good, and what at least I am happy with it, is that 23,550, 23,500 is a level which is with the bulls, and this is really, really good because you have strength coming in HDFC Bank. That's the lead stock that is outperforming in the last 15 odd minutes, and this is good news for Nifty traders. It's also good news for Nifty Bank in particular. Remember, HDFC Bank was actually in negative territory in the morning. The low was 1589. Now it's about 1603, up almost 0.4% and 6 rupees 10. So this is a very, very good plus. Even Reliance has recovered very sharply from intraday lows. 2942 was the low. It is at 2953. But the run up is now on HAL and BEL. HAL is definitely at a record high. Kunal had mentioned BEL in his opening commentaries. Let me see whether BEL is at a record high or not. I think there is still space. The record high is 323. We are at 319. And given the fact that this is the lone PSU defense stock which is not at a record high, is the one that you should be tracking on the long side. Again, a very strong move coming on auto ancillaries such as Gabriel India, 5.5% higher at 437. This is the last stock that I am going to track for the morning show. Kunal, your view on Gabriel India? I think yes, this is headed towards a record high, which was 443, last seen in December 23. Your view on Gabriel India?
Right now, stock is trading at 439. It has already given a breakout of its inverted headed shoulder formation, which is like a bullish reversal formation, and stock is about to enter into its uncharted territory. So this stocks particularly looks very good to me. But if you talk about fresh entry, then yes, one can get into the stock at present level, but SL will be like little bit lower at 409. Right now, stock is trading at 439. Okay, and if we talk about SL side, then 6 to 7% of SL would be there at 409. Now, target wise, first target would be at 462, and if stocks gives breakouts of this 462, then ultimate target would be at 500, which would be somewhere around 13 to 14% return that we can expect from the present level in the counter itself. So yes, one can get into the stock with the strict SL of 409.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Kunal and Dharmesh ji, for being with us on this very special edition. Viewers, now we have the listing of Exigo on NSE. It is listed at 138.10 per share. And we've also seen a 135 rupees listing on BSE for the stock, a 49% premium, continuously moving higher. Now you can see a 139.5 rupee kind of a level on the stock, 140 now, 51% higher. Strong listing. 51% of an upside from the listing, from the issue price right now for all those lucky ones who got the allotment in the IPO. They have got a 50% premium on the listing as the listing gain as far as Lead Avenues Technologies is concerned, the operator of Ixico. Remember, the subscription was very strong again. 98 times of a subscription. We did see that the retail participation was very strong, about 54.8 times. Institutional investors subscribed 106 times, non-institutional about 110 times. So it's going to be extremely tough for all the investors who have actually bid for this IPO. But those who have got the allotment, lucky are those. 49% premium, strong listing for Ixico.
नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूं कि
June 9th marked a show of strength of the Naya Sarkar of Modi 3.0, the rise of a